Hey everybody, this is Eric with the Future of Fitness podcast and Fitness Marketing Alliance. And this was a really, really cool interview for me personally. I have to say it went much longer than what we would normally do. Is about a 90-minute interview, but Dan John has been a major influence in my fitness coaching career, and hopefully you know who he is. Hopefully he's a man that has to go without introduction, but in case you don't know who he is a longtime athlete, longtime coach. He's an author of at least 6 books. He's competed in track and field as a discus thrower. He's competed in the Highland Games. He's competed in multiple different, and he still competes. I think when I talked to him, he was preparing for an Olympic lifting meet in the age of somewhere he's in his 50s now. But the special thing about Dan John is that he can take an incredible amount of experience and information and boil it down to the simplest forms. And during this conversation, he really honed in on the little things that he's done consistently over time that's made him a huge success in the fitness industry. So tune in, pick up every little bit you can, because this is a highly valuable interview. And without further ado, Dan John. Hey everybody, this is Eric with the Fitness Marketing Alliance, and I'm extremely excited to be here with Coach Dan John. Dan is a legend in the strength game. He is an author. He's a father, a grandfather now, grandfather as well, and also what I would like to call a warrior poet. I've had the pleasure of meeting you, Dan, I think 3 times now, twice at Strength Matters Summits. You gave a handful of presentations there on various topics. And then I also had one of the highlights of my coaching career. I think it was a 3-day intensive program with you and a small handful of people. I think it was right before you published your book, Can You Go? So was that 2015?
Where was that?
That was in La Jolla. It was
yeah, that's right. That was the Art of Coaching.
Yeah, that was it. And you gave, that's right. And you gave, that was when you, I think the 4-part assessment came out. Maybe that was right when you were honing that.
It was then towards after, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys probably had books, because it was, who knows?
Yeah.
It was, and you remember I was trying to teach and had the personal trainers right behind you guys doing stuff?
Yeah, I do. I also remember you permanently fixed my push-up. That's another story, but some things I really didn't realize, that my shoulder was pretty junked up, and you just right away you got it just from looking at like 2 push-ups.
Yeah.
And it was this part of my hand came up. Remember?
Exactly right. Yeah. And, so every single push-up you did was
Yeah. So it's gotten better. I can't say it's perfect, but it's gotten better, Coach. And, just from a personal note, you've been a huge influence in my coaching career. I think the most impressive thing that really attracted me to you and your writing and you as a coach was that you take all these years of experience and you boil it down into the simplest possible terms that we can digest as fitness professionals.
Well, but the hard thing is that no matter what I do, people still misunderstand me. Can I talk for a few seconds?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll go in as much depth as you want, but this is for personal trainers, right?
Right. Fitness professionals as a whole. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the biggest problem, and I talk about this all the time, is that people have a worldview, a paradigm about things, and it's very difficult to push past that. And you've got to give me a few seconds. And this is a standard thing when I talk to personal trainers, especially. In theology, there's a word called steno symbol. And steno, S-T-E-N-O, you flip that and it's O-N-E. A steno symbol is a word, a phrase, a concept with one meaning. So this is my desk right here. So if we're on the beach and a woman walks past us and I elbow you and I say, "She's so desk," you'd be like, I have no your paradigm.
I think you're crazy.
Desk is this thing right there. A great example would be the word gay. 100 years ago, gay meant happy. You can't call up your parents tonight and say, "Mom, Dad, I'm gay," and have them hear anything but one thing. And good or bad. Now, in the fitness world, we are stuck in paradigms. So I'll go to a workshop and they'll say, Dan, talk about getting people stronger. And I'll say, for what? Like throwing the discus farther, or an off-season football player. And I'll go, okay. Someone's hand will go up. What about burpees? What about burpees? What about, well, where are they in your program? Well, they're not in my program. You said to get stronger. Oh, yeah, but they burn fat. Well, burn fat. I think you burn fat on a barbecue, but I digress. I didn't take physiology, but I know that's not true. Most people have this bodybuilding paradigm that I'm going to do hypertrophy work and I'm going to do some junk stuff, eat chicken and broccoli, and then I'll have the body of my dreams. And that's just great for you, good for you. But the downside of the body of your dreams, you still might not be able to perform. You still might not be stronger. You might look better, but in most sports, no one cares how you look. No one cares how you look. People just make fun of Charles Barkley, the round mound. Yeah, you go play Charles Barkley. A buddy of mine, I used to work with a local professional team here, and they would talk about certain people in the league, like Karl Malone, trying to get around Karl Malone, trying to get around Charles Barkley. And so who cares? I mean, obviously Malone was in pretty good shape, but Barkley, no. But you had to get around it. So maybe we could take Barkley in an off-season program, have him do a bunch of burpees, lean him down 80, 90 pounds, and then he's no longer in the league.
Right.
This is the first problem we have when we talk to people. Most people who are even listening, when I say weightlifting, their mind goes to desk. Their mind goes to gay. Their thought is lose body fat, hypertrophy work. I didn't say build muscle. I said hypertrophy work. So when clients come in and I say to a client, a typical everybody else person, coming into a gym, what do you want? Their steno symbol. Okay, when your mom said, did you do your homework? You said, yes, I did. Because that's how you and your mom talked.
Right.
I could have family members call me up right after an operation where I'm still bleeding out. Danny, how you doing? I'm doing fine. Because that is the steno symbol to how you doing.
Right.
You don't say, hey, Merry Christmas. The response isn't up yours. It's just these.
Well, not your family. Yeah.
Huh?
Not your family. Yeah.
So these are kind of built-in mindsets. So when people come in to talk with me, I hear, I want to lose weight, and I break that off with, well, I'll just cut your leg off because you'll lose weight then. But I want to lose fat. Oh, because that's always what they say. And then when I say, what do you mean by that? They don't have a response. When I tell them, here's the other side. And then when I say, I want you to eat more meat, more protein, more veggies, more water, take fish oil, they hear starvation. When I say, we're going to try to get you, we'd like to see what, I'd like to get you a little stronger, do some movement, they hear throw up, sweaty mess. So before, and here's the thing. We probably already had people click it off like, who cares about this? Folks, this is the communication problems you're having. Right. Did you do your homework? Yes, I did. Well, show it to me. Oh, that homework. So, it's like those, you remember the two questions I ask of everybody? Do you eat colorful vegetables and you exercise half an hour a day? Everybody says, yes, I do. Here's the funny thing. If you ate colorful vegetables every day, not a ton, just any, and you exercise half an hour, you would never need to hire me or you.
Yeah.
But they say they do. And so then I say, because I think I have the gravity, I can say to them, well, then I can't work with you because you're already doing what I was going to tell you to do. And then all of a sudden they realize that I just smashed their steno symbol. And now we can finally talk. But as you learn in the 1, 2, 3, 4 assessment, the Can You Go, is that the next step is I need to give people what they need, not what they want. And the problem is, I mean, I don't know what parenting is like now, but my job raising my daughters was to make sure they had their needs, not their wants.
Mm-hmm.
You might want a pony, and that's nice, but you need to go to school. You need to read great books. You need to eat home cooked meals at least twice a day. I can't, school lunch is school lunch, but you don't, in our family, you don't get treats for doing your damn homework. That's your job. I don't care if you want a treat for doing your homework. You need to do your homework. You follow my heads out here?
Yeah. Yeah. And the question I have for you on that is you do have the gravity, right? To tell people what they need. For most fitness professionals, right, especially those who are just getting started in their 1 to 5 year point, in some way, they need to give them what they want until they earn that right to give them what they need.
Okay, let's talk how you do it.
Yeah.
The bulk of the men I know need mobility work. They need free movement around the joints.
Yeah.
But if I just gave them mobility, they never come back. So what I try to do is mix, for men, what they need, mobility, with hypertrophy, which is what they want. So between every set of hypertrophy work, we do anywhere from original strength movement to a bird dog to a suspension trainer movement so you're going to do a set of presses with your right arm, and then we're going to do a stretch, then set of presses with your left arm, and how happy you are because you're building muscle on your shoulder and your greater anterius and your outer sphinxius and your whatever, but what I'm getting is you more mobile. And the funny thing is, if you do hook mobility and hypertrophy together, they actually work together. Very few qualities work together. Here, let me just give you a quick two. Strength and flexibility, because they're both neurological tricks, work well together. So, for example, that's why when I first started Olympic lifting, I needed more flexibility and more strength. And I was able to make great progress. And then the hormonal cascade hit me because of the load, and I put on all this body weight. The other thing that works well together seems to be is hypertrophy and mobility. Those two things work well. There's not a lot of qualities that work well together. I mean, I keep hearing people say, long distance running and powerlifting. I'm like, because that's what I hear, I want to be an offensive lineman and a female Olympic gymnast. That's what I hear when people tell me their goals.
Yeah.
You want to weigh 340 pounds at 6'8"? Yes.
Yeah.
You be a female Olympic gymnast? Yes. Now you laugh, but that's what most people's goals are. That 52-year-old woman, and God bless her, she wants to look like she did before she was 14 and, hit secondary puberty, then had 3 kids, and then didn't exercise for 40 years, 30 years. Give me more than 2 weeks, okay? Give me 3 on that to turn that thing around.
Right.
But the very first thing I think we need to do is first kind of wrap your arms around this idea that your worldview, I'm talking to you, your worldview, in some cases, it's hypertrophy work, bodybuilding work, and a long treadmill. That doesn't cut it for most of your clients. A guy like me, when I first started, I thought the answer to all questions were the Olympic lifts. I was wrong. But for the clients I was working with, I was absolutely right. So, and then the second state is that you have to get into this idea of, I have to give people what they want and what they need.
Yeah.
Read a good, honestly, people ask me, are there good coaching books out there? And I say sometimes, I always go, there's a great book. I couldn't tell you the author because I bought the book probably 12 times and given you, I think his name is Wong, W-N-G, but it's called The First 3 Days of School. And he wrote a book about establishing everything in the first 3 days. And I've gotten so much insight out of that book because it's such a brilliant book, because once you set up the standards and the rules and everything else, the school year is simple. Good parenting books are often good coaching books, because good mothers and fathers and parents have the ability to, here's a quick one. You tell your child who's 5, do you want to go to Taco Bell or Jack in the Box or whatever, Wendy's?
Yeah.
You're too stupid to be a parent. You're in charge. If they don't want to eat what you made, they go home, they go to bed hungry. they will learn quickly. So we've got to get ourselves out of this idea as coaches that we're a modern parent who throws, these teachers, if you show up on time to a thing, they give you a piece of candy. Well, no wonder an obese culture. You know, if you're constantly being rewarded for what you're supposed to do, you'll never learn. So the first thing you need to do with your client, in fact, I've got a phrase out of the book, Mask Made Simple, that I see on memes all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. My sister loves the fact that I get memed. She thinks it's hilarious. she just thinks it's hilarious. And there's one called Eat Like an Adult.
Yeah.
That's my diet advice.
Yeah. And
people, well, what do you mean by that? Well, if you don't know what I mean by that, get out of the fitness business. If you don't know how to eat like an adult, really, it's that hard? But this is the follow-up.
Right.
People, it's kind of a modern thing. I see it happen at my workshops all the time. Hand will go up. First off, anytime a hand goes up, I almost always want to say, a question ends in a question mark, or do you have a story about how wonderful you are? And the thing I've noticed very recently in the last few years is when people's hands go up at workshops, they're just trying to let the rest of the audience know either they're smarter than me or more qualified than me.
Absolutely.
And yet, their ignorance that comes out of their mouth disqualifies them from that comment.
Yeah.
But, you know, you'll ask me a question, okay, I'm going to say to you, eat like an adult. And you're going to say, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that, Coach?
I mean, to eat like an adult? Well, it means, you know, eat real food, you know, go to the store, make your own meals. It'd be nice to make some meals from scratch. I would clean up after. I would eat as a family. How come that's so foreign to you? And you got to put it right back in there. Just say,
oh, yeah.
And you got to kind of lean in like this and go, why do you think that's so strange to shop and make your, and then I always tell women I meet, if you meet a guy who doesn't understand that, run screaming. We can stop his DNA right now.
Darwinism. Yeah. I mean, it's so many clients, and I've been in the fitness training a long time. I owned a gym for 9 years. How many people, if I say, hey, where's the vegetables on your food diary? Like, I don't like them. I just don't like them. And I've used that. Like, well, all right, eat like an adult.
Let me show you how easy it is to get the vegetables. Welcome to my home, everybody. It's my house. This is right, drunk, sober, or the same. All right. Let's walk into my kitchen. You still with me?
We're here.
All right. See, there's a bowl of avocados and lemons.
Yep.
Let me show you an easy. Oh, don't look at that. That's sweet. My mother-in-law brought over something she wanted. But let me show you how easy it is to get vegetables, okay? Oh, there you go. There, jamaica, tomatoes, onions. You can can you see this okay?
Yep.
So I buy about 3 or 4 of those a week, and that's my snack. That's my snack, okay? And that's my dog. He's not happy with you. Okay. My point is, where are the vegetables? We live in a culture where you can go to the store, and it's funny because they're already pre-made and pre-cut for us.
Right.
And they're cheaper. The pre-made, pre-cut ones are often cheaper than doing it yourself.
Right.
Where are the vegetables? Why don't you buy Progresso cans of vegetable soup? So why don't you snack on that? Well, isn't there salt in there? Oh, I see. Yeah. That can of vegetable soup is what put 100 pounds of body fat on you. You know, it was.
Yeah. So let me segue that, because I think, you if anyone's read your stuff or they've attended your seminars, they know that you really, and what was the book that you wrote with Josh Hillis? Fat Loss Starts on Mondays, right?
You mean this wonderful book?
Yep. Read it, love it, use it all the time. Now you talk about
why that was out, but go ahead.
Habit-based nutrition, right? So taking that thought, and let's move it over to and let's talk, Joe or Susie trainer who's, a couple years in the industry, wanting, great coach, but maybe just can't find the clients, can't get the clients in the door, right? What little habits did you do as you've been coming up as a coach and a trainer that made you successful from the standpoint of business and marketing? Things that you do on a daily, weekly basis.
Wow. Gotta be different, but let me share with you a couple of things that I do. And it's all,
Please.
I think I've been more than honest. I don't think I've hidden anything, have I?
No, never. Not to my knowledge.
So let's do this. Let's start with the food thing, okay?
Yeah.
Let's start with that. Because I have this belief that fitness, it's called the 4 R's now. It used to be called the 3 R's. Fitness, finance, food, and relationships all have the exact same truths. Okay? It's called the 4 F's. Okay? So, do you have a menu for what you're going to eat every night for dinner?
No.
You're already behind the 8 ball. I'm already going to write more books than you this year. Because I know every night of the week what I'm going to have for dinner. Because I have a menu. And the menu hasn't changed. My daughters were probably 7 years old. Kelly's 27 and has 2 kids. The reason you have a menu is so that on Sunday, after you eat, you go shopping to the menu. What day of the week do you do your dark laundry?
No idea.
Monday. What day of the week do you do your white laundry? Tuesday. What day of the week do you clean your bathrooms? Wednesday. So here, you're going to miss the point what I'm trying to say, but let me just say it right now. I have a white laundry basket. When I walk past it on Thursday and see that maybe there's some sheets in there, and for maybe some whatever reason we have sheets in there, my brain doesn't see it because Monday is white laundry day. So when I come home from the shopping list that's on the refrigerator, I can go show it to you if you want to see it. Okay, we make Monday night's dinner. We make Sunday night's dinner, but we also make Monday night's. Well, start on Monday night's dinner. I'll probably have steak, salad, and champagne. So while we're cooking up the Sunday special, which is Sunday is always different because it's what you find in the store. Okay,
right.
Monday is always steak, salad, and champagne. So Sunday night, I'm going to brine the steak up. I'm going to pour boiling water with brine and salt in them with a little bit of, like Worcestershire sauce, whatever, peppers and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And let those steaks sit for 24 hours because we might not buy the nicest kind of steaks, but 24 hours in a bath of that makes them phenomenal.
Sure.
So if I'm hungry at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't pull over because I know I have delicious steaks at my home. When I'm cleaning up the steaks, it's an easy meal. While doing the salad, we'll make Tuesday's night meal. We just don't worry about it. Just my point.
Yep.
The more things you can compartmentalize in your life, basically turn them into checklists, the easier and simpler life becomes. In the world of food, have a menu. In the world of finance, there's 2 things. There's nothing. Well, here's the overriding on all of them. Little and often over the long haul.
Yes.
Is the answer most of humans' issues. So when it comes to food, a little thing like a menu done often works better for your body comp than all the other nonsense you do. Having basically the same shopping list weekly is miles easier than inventing a new one every week. And you're going to say, well, isn't that boring? The average American eats only 14 foods. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I think I eat more.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure.
Write it down, count them up.
But I'll find out by 5 p.m. today.
So, if you start your day with Cheerios with milk and coffee, okay, that's 3 foods. If you do that every day, that's still 3 foods.
Right.
So my argument is, might as well pick the 14 foods. I mean, if your 14 foods are like blueberries, salmon, steak, coffee, broccoli, you know what I'm saying? Cottage cheese, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
unsalted almonds, those kinds of things. If the superfoods are your 14, God bless you. You're not going to suddenly go, oh my God, how did I get fat eating salmon and broccoli? Well, good luck to do that, because those foods are satiating.
Yeah.
So I have, in fact, it's right here on the back of my computer. You can't see it, but would you mind linking this? Well, don't worry about it. So I have a pirate map that I follow every day. It's a phrase I got from Pat Flynn. So I have a weightlifting meet in the last weekend of October. I'm 60, but I want to lift. I lifted meets, when I can, Olympic lifting. So I start my day the night before. So before I go to bed, I make the coffee. The smell of coffee is what wakes me up in the morning. I wear my blue blocking glasses if I'm watching TV or using the computer. I hot tub and ice shower every night before I go to bed after I take my supplements. Okay? Those 4 steps, like a dog turning around in a circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I wake up, the first thing I do is I have a moment of gratitude. And usually it's for a couple, there's a couple things I'm very grateful for. Then I get on the floor and I do my Tim Anderson Original Strength. He gave me a couple movements to do every morning. At that moment, I take care of my college grades. I answer every email. That's true, right?
Yeah. Quickly.
I'm never late on emails. And then if I have to, I write. And I'm knocking out about 4 articles a month, 2-3 books a year. And I focus on that until about 9 o'clock. So I'm up for maybe 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
And then at 9 o'clock, I shower and I work out, because people all over the world come to train with me. 3 days a week, I Olympic lift. 2 to 3 days a week, I always mobility work, some more hypertrophy when I'm away from a meet, but close now. That's what I do every single day. When we're done working out about 10:30, I go to the Landmark Cafe. I order, you can call them up right now, a vegetarian omelet, a side salad, and cottage cheese. I fast for, what is that about? I fast for about 16, 17 hours a day. And I strive to if I eat the big breakfast, I eat a normal dinner. And if I eat between meals, you saw what I ate.
Yeah.
It's that little thing of veggies. When you called, I had a thing of, I'm trying out this new style of beet. So I had a whole bowl of beets. And the only problem is they spilled and I got it on my cup.
Yeah.
So now I'm angry. Ruined a good book. So what I'm trying to say, why am I talking about food and finances? Finances, if you're debt free and you put a little bit away of money every month, when you're my age, you'll be absolutely fine. I retired, 2010? At age, what was I, 52, 3 or something like that.
Awesome.
How'd I do that? Everybody knows how I did it. What would your mother, father, grandfather tell you at age 22? Debt, my friend, I tell you, that's a bad thing, Yeah. Yep. Put away a few dollars.
Yeah.
Folks, that's a bad thing. Well, you know this, right? Fitness, we know that, lift weights, go for a walk. Most people's dreams come true if you just do those 2 things.
Yeah.
Okay, or plank, goblet squat, do some hip thrusts, and farmer walk a suitcase carries. There's 4 exercises.
Yeah.
4. Sorry, that was a European American. Push up, goblet squat, hip thrust, walk with weights. All your dreams come true. Go for a walk. It's just not. Turn off the TV and read good books. There's not one thing. So when you're talking about becoming successful, the very first thing people need to do is watch where the time and energy and resources are getting blown out of your life. So where are the time wasters in your life? My wife and I, in 2010, she got a promotion. Nice things happened. I had a couple of books really hit. So we moved to California, and then when our daughter got married, and then of course the 2, Danny and Joseph, my grandchildren came by, we kind of decided to move back here to Utah. And when we came back, we lost a whole bunch of friends. And it really, in many cases, kind of hurtful. But then Tiff and I talked about it, about where those relationships had gone. And I wouldn't say they were toxic. I don't like that phrase. You might have known toxic people in your life, and we all know those life suckers. Mm-hmm. But the relationship, the cost of benefit of the relationship wasn't there anymore. So I would say do that in your whole life. For example, I do watch a lot of TV. This is true. Like when I do laundry, I watch television. When I'm folding clothes, I watch television. But we never watch, we have a real hard time getting like ABC, NBC, CBS, and the rest, because we don't have the ability to get them here. So if you tell me a series is good, I'll buy the series and watch the shows in 21 minutes with no commercials. I'm not saying you have to do this, and I'm not saying I'm a lunatic. I'm just saying look for those places in your life where you see everything just pouring out. My young friend down there, Sirius Black, my dog, he's a pound puppy. But you know what? He's not. We have a little system. He understands things. He's my companion. He trains with us. My wife and I both travel a lot. And when I'm on the road, Sirius Black makes me feel better about my wife, being alone. So for me, the dog is not a time waster. But what are time wasters in your life? Here's one. Shopping 23 times a week. We shop on Sunday, and we have the Winder Dairy people, that's the local dairy, deliver stuff to us on Thursday, because the worst thing most of us can do is go back into a store. What kind of vehicle are you driving? I know people who, this is a while ago, but got second mortgages on their house so they could buy big SUVs. And I thought, well, how stupid are you?
Yeah. Okay.
So now you're working for a car that has a shelf life, 6-7 years. So I'm just saying is, where are your time wasters? What's sucking the energy out of you? Because until you get control of you, Earl Nightingale had a wonderful story. So this dad's watching football, and the son keeps bothering him. So he takes out the Sunday paper, and the dad cuts up a picture of the world. He says, son, piece that together. Well, in just a few seconds, the son comes back. It wasn't perfect, but it was a good job. And he goes, how'd you do that so fast? And he goes, well, Daddy, on the back side of it was a man. And when I put the man together, the world came together. And I don't use that story enough because it doesn't resonate as well as I'd hope. But when you're together, your career suddenly becomes together. Hmm. I know many personal trainers. In fact, I'm thinking of a few who don't have six-pack abs and perfect SoCal bikini bodies. But their clientele is massive because they're together. They're together. Even though they might not have the genetics or maybe some bad life choices, it doesn't matter, because I want you, the personal trainer, to give a shit about me. I don't care that you have six-pack abs. I don't care that you have, nice big arthritic hands. I don't care. Yeah. I'm paying you to help me get better. And most people in our field don't yet get that. I've been around coaches who, sit in their lawn chair and wax eloquently about events that happened 50 years ago and don't coach their athletes. And you see it all the time. So the first thing, job one, is you got to put your stuff together. And the areas you got to put together are fitness, finance, small f, food, relationships. You got to get that together. I'll tell you one thing. If you're young in our business and you were smart enough to join the Marine Corps and have all your education paid for, and you go out there in this business debt-free, with money saved, you're going to probably have more clients than the person who's just struggling to keep ends meet.
Yeah.
Because people can smell it, man.
Yeah.
People can smell fear. Not fear. People can smell success. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that was question one that went on.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, feel to run off as much as you want on these. I have, I know obviously you're a big reader. There's a book I recently just worked on. It's called Thank You for Being Late. I want to get it right. An Optimist's Guide to Thriving in the Age of Accelerations, and it's by Thomas Friedman. Do you know this book?
I know Thomas Friedman's book.
So he makes a really good argument in the book, and I'm a closet futurist, and well, I guess I just outed myself, but he talks about 2007. He makes a strong argument, right, that in 2007, all these technological advancements happened at once.
Right.
The iPhone being the biggest one, right? GitHub being another one, and way just information in the cloud, essentially, right? So that was 10 years ago. 10 years, right? The iPhone has only been around for 10 years. You are what I would consider a master content creator, right? Which would be the term we use in the marketing world. You consistently pump out quality content, obviously books and things like that. The question I'm getting at here is, how has technology changed the way you do things, if at all, right? And then what do you think is going to happen next in the fitness industry?
Well, the odd thing is, I was one of the first blogs, fitness blogs.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say something.
Because you were on T Nation too, right? I mean, I wonder how many modern day fitness professionals know about T Nation, or at least the history of it. Anyway, carry on.
So in 1998, this job came up and I applied for it to be an online professor. They didn't have the word yet, for Columbia College in Missouri. And Tiff saw it and said, you should apply for this. I'm joking. I might be joking. It might not be true, but I might have been the only applicant with an email address.
That's awesome. Was it Prodigy? Or was it? What was the email address?
Softhome.net.
Okay.
djohn at soft. Don't use it, folks. It's the dead account. And in 1998, I went on this thing called the internet, and I found Clarence Bass, and he's the first email I ever wrote, and Rob Wolf is the second. Because back then, people used to have these big chains on their emails, and you could go up and mine them for people's addresses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that, that'll date me, but to my point, a guy by the name of Tamir Katz emailed him one time and said, you need to start a blog to help us, because the people who ran the internet fitness at the time were the high intensity people who believe one set to failure. So in 1998, the people who dominated the internet in the world of fitness were one set to failure on an autos machine. They dominated it.
They were the loudest.
Huh?
They were the loudest.
Yeah. Well, they were the only ones on.
Right.
Since they never actually trained, they had plenty of time to do other things. Yeah. Not just making fun. But so in 1998, I got online and I started pumping out a lot of information. I wish I could find my original address and pull them up from the Wayback Machine. I don't know if you've ever been to the Internet Archive, but I can't find my original internet site was hotbot.com/fitness/exercise/Dan John/ but I can't, I don't think that's right. But it was this long, and then, but so I just started, person asked me a question and then I'd type up a 5-paragraph answer. Someone asked me a program and I'd type it up and I would store, or I'd retype stuff. I was very concerned about losing some of the stuff, like notes and stuff from workshops I'd been to. So I just type it up there and throw it up there. And then you say to me 2007, so about 10 years after the first blogs, the iPhone show up and now it's 10 years. So we're talking about a 20-year period. Frankly, I'd almost say things have flattened out technologically. I would almost say that. It's not the Wild West anymore. When I was first get online, you would ping, don't type in snatch Olympic lifting because, man, it would take days for you to shut down all the pop-ups that would come up. Days. And that's all gone now. Well, as my friend told me not long ago, always look at porn to find out where technology is going.
Yeah.
Because, I guess there's a book or something about that, how porn chose DVD, and that's DVD. Porn chose VCR over beta.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing now in the porn world is this idea of virtual starting to show up. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if we're not far from, it's funny if you watch the HBO show Ballers, there is they're trying to get the guy to invest in virtual reality. And it's a very funny little scene, but gosh, that's the future.
Yeah.
So I'm still convinced. I'm starting to think that maybe the future, I know for sure in the strategic sports, the tactical sports, American football, rugby, soccer, probably basketball, that the virtual reality for the athlete will become very big. The quarterback can make 700 reads on a defense. He can get he can look at a defense, make an adjustment, make the play call, pick the receiver, and never take a hit or get tired and not have to worry about 21 other people being out there at the same time. So if you can get a quarterback to get a couple hundred reps a day on his own, when he does come out to practice, his brain is going to be warp speed ahead of the rest of the people.
Right.
And so I think in the performance, you'll see that. Interesting, because it's probably hard to find it now, but maybe libraries will still have them. But Stanford tried this thing called cyber vision. Oh boy, it had been right around. Yeah, it had been late 90s, and they would film great athletes, and they, like in the hammer, putting on the glove was ding, 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 ding. Well, and then they'd have music, ding, 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 woo. And then another sound was woo, 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 to teach you the rhythm. And then they just show you the hammer trace. And they kept trying to lay in the patterns. It didn't make it. It just didn't make it, because it was only this and some here. But now the virtual world with the new gloves that are coming out and things, I mean, I see the future in performance sports virtual. I mean, absolutely virtual. I see leagues starting up online where I'm an offensive tackle for the Ready Player One Knights. You're from the Lord of the Rings Hobbits team. And I see virtual leagues showing up where, chubby kids in their basement are playing high level sports.
Yeah.
I don't think this is me, being out there.
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's a good, I mean, have you got to play with any of the VR stuff, the virtual reality stuff with the gloves, and have you gotten that opportunity yet?
I've been to, I have early prototypes. I won't let you know what company this is, but this is an attempt to do something. If it's powered up, I'll show you some cool stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, so I've been around long enough to test everything, but these are special. I don't want to show too much. Okay. But the classes that are supposed to make my training harder, and that was an early thing. That's like a step before where we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, those bad boys. And then I was there for some other things, but I think I'm the only person. There was this method they did at the Olympic Training Center. I think I'm the only person I've ever done twice. It's archaic 3D, but not archaic. It was even. But you had to stand there in a Speedo, and then they put silver dots on all your joints.
Yep.
and you had to stand there for 5 or 10 minutes, I mean, a long effing time in a Speedo in front of people. And then you were in the ring, and then they'd say, okay, throw the discus as far as you possibly can. Okay. I threw 180 feet like that, which I thought might be the best throw of my life. And it's funny because when you look at my throw, you can tell that, I mean, I could have thrown farther, but it's a funny little throw because it's just so, instead of being like this, it just takes off like that. The downside is, how many throws did they do with me? One. I stood there. So it wasn't it was a real discus throw, but nowadays you can get that feedback. I mean, honestly, we're to a place where, you know what they do? I don't know if you watched like The Hobbit, where Gollum, where in Smog and Gollum in Lord of the Rings and then Smog, where you just have, they have the suits now that are covered with the dots.
Yeah.
Now, those aren't perfect either, but at least you're not standing there for 20 minutes. You could probably take 20 throws. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another area. Okay, sorry. That's another. Again, we're only in performance. I think what's going to happen on the fitness world is it's going to get much worse. Food producers in the United States know that your brain is, your amount of free will to control your food is low. Well, it's like I said, unsalted almonds. Well, why did I say that? Well, next time you go to the store, look at almonds and look at how many different varieties they have. Here's a funny thing. I can give you 2 pounds of salmon, but if I find an almond with the kind of salt or spice on it that you like, you'll start munching them away. If I pull that out and add another one, barbecue sauce almonds, you'll start shoving those down your throat. I think we're in deep trouble because the food corporations, industrial food complex, is going to make it. You just got to look at a few commercials on TV. You know, the fast food places. You know, Tiff and I the other night, there's a company that's selling like a two for one. It's a burger, fries, and a drink. And certain days of the week, it's 2 for 1. So dinner is $5, and this is 2017.
Yep.
Well, if you're not a struggling family, but you're a family that has kind of run out of options because of a busy Tuesday, you're going to eat there, and you'll probably eat more because with the soft drink, you're probably already over the caloric limit for that one meal, you know. And the exercise front, I keep thinking we get smarter, and then I go on the internet and I realize that we're miles to go. What I'm trying to do before I die is provide at least clarity to things. This is strength training. This is mobility training. This is bodybuilding / hypertrophy training. This crazy stuff you're doing over there is fine. It's inefficient exercise coupled with caloric restriction might help you lose body fat. Burpees, treadmills, those weird bikes, you know, all that stuff. But do not take that weird bike over to my strength room. But it's a piece of equipment for exercise. True. It's a phrase I use all the time. If you chase 2 rabbits, you go home hungry.
Yeah. Most
people chase 50 rabbits and they wonder why they get no success. You know, I chase very, very few rabbits. Very few rabbits. Now you say that and you raise your hand and say, well, don't you teach religious studies? Yes. Aren't you, an instructor over in England? Yes, I am. Don't you write? Yes, I do that. But I only chase a few rabbits, and I chase a rabbit. I chase one rabbit, finish with that rabbit, and then chase the next one.
Yeah.
But if you don't have checklists, here's a quick one. Do you have a yearly calendar? Not a yearly calendar like okay, that's right there. You better have birthdays and anniversaries in that yearly calendar. But what I'd also tell you to do is here's a quick one. When do you shop for Christmas?
right after Thanksgiving.
I already got you beat. I'm already have you. On Thanksgiving Friday, my wife and I put up Christmas around our house.
Yeah.
And then we go on Amazon Prime, drink wine, and shop.
Yeah, that's right.
Shopping with 2 bottles of wine. We call it Wine and Prime.
Yeah. That sounds like a blast.
But Thanksgiving Day, I've taken care of Christmas, and I've taken care of Christmas. And I had a delightful free day because no one does anything on Thanksgiving Friday. And by the way, we're also watching football at the same time.
Yeah. So
it's win-win-win. Like, when do you do your tax stuff? When do you do your tax stuff? When are you going to get this? When are you going to do that? I try to have, like, for example, the other day, I have these big sails in my backyard to keep the sun. When you're out there, that is a September chore, taking them down. I de-summer my house in September. I try to do 1 or 2 small things every day, de-summering my house. And I try to push it off so that, you can still come over the house and you can still sit outdoors from, deep into October, November here in Utah. I also start to set summer up. That's April. April, I start getting summer ready. And I try to do 1 or 2 small. Why wait until you have 150 people come over to get the chairs out?
Right.
So you follow where the brain is here?
Yep.
Okay.
Organization and planning.
Yeah.
And simplicity, right? I mean, I think in one of your wandering weights issues, which is Dan's weekly email, you had mentioned an article about decision fatigue. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And how that is overwhelming for today's society, right? And I find it every day. By 5 p.m., I can't make a decision worth anything, right? Because I made so many up to that point.
What kind of jeans do you wear?
What kind of jeans? I actually don't wear jeans.
Okay. I buy Barbell brand jeans.
Nice.
I bought 4 pair. What kind of shoes do you wear?
I wear basically Nike Metcons and Innovates. That's it.
Nike free? How many pairs did I buy?
4.
I don't have it on me on this because I've been working out, but I bought 16 of the exact same shirt. Sure.
Where did you buy them?
It's the old name for bird, Anthrix or something like that.
Okay.
And I got 16 because that's all they had my size in North America, and they're all black.
Easy.
Let's talk about decision. And then so I'll finish this whole damn thing, and people say, how do you knock out 2 or 3 books a year? It's like, because I wear the same shirt to everything. What's your secret? My secret is did you not listen to the first one? I wear the same shirt to everything.
Yeah.
Well, how does that help you write books? Because when every second you're looking through your closet, I'm already writing. Yeah. You saw my snack tray, right? Right?
Yeah.
You buy a couple of those. If you're hungry, eat a couple of those first, then see if you're really hungry or just bored,
Yeah.
Decision fatigue is huge. Well, I tell people all the time, this is just because I'm a kettlebell instructor, don't just listen to the point.
Right.
If you just had a gym with kettlebells and like suspension trainers, that's all you had. You A, would have very good clients, and B, you would keep out a guy walks in, powerlifter. Do you have the Megatron 5000 squat rack? No. Well, if you get one, I'll sign up. Megatron 1000 costs $24,000. That's only going to show up about 2 months anyway. Why waste your money? Then you say, no. What do you got? We got kettlebells, suspension trainers.
Yeah.
What about? Yeah, that's not our gym. Well, then I'm not going to come here. Okay.
Right.
If your people don't fire clients, I'm a big believer in getting rid of people.
Yeah.
And the reason you do that, and I haven't done it in years, but the reason you do it is because you will spend more time trying to please the person that got you. They picked up you. By the way, stop doing Groupon.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Stop discounting your stuff. You do not give away 12 sessions for the price of 10. What you just told everybody, that's your price. It's a joke I heard years ago, and it's important. You walk up to a woman in a bar. Would you have sex with me for $5 million? And she says, yes. Oh, okay. Would you have sex for $5? Well, you think I'm a whore? We've established that. Now we're just working on the price. Oh, you have to clear that one off. Is that okay?
No, that's great. No, I just think, no, it's staying. That's
so
staying.
What you tell your client is this: I'm charging $100 an hour, or 80, or 70, or 60, or maybe, if you got the group on 30, or 5. What you just did to me is you just told me now we're just finding a price for you. You put your price out there, and that's your price. Awesome. Now, I'm in a different world. I mean, I do discount workshops all the time. I have a set price, and I charge much less all the time. But it's because Tiff and I have a family motto: make a difference. So I'll look at it if it's for high school coaches, if it's for a fundraiser. I've done many fundraisers for free. In fact, do you mind me talking about this?
No, not at all. Please do.
So last year when Tiff and I went to Ireland, we had a rough couple of months. She had to have an emergency thyroidectomy. She was growing down into her heart, and we almost lost her. And then at the same time, they found cancer on me. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. But so we decided we needed a timeout. So we went to Ireland for a month. And while we were there, I did a whole series of workshops to raise money for this little girl in Belfast who had this rare disease. Now, they have socialized medicine, but they had to go to the United States a lot for certain treatments. So I did a series of fundraisers where every nickel that came in went to this little girl and her family. Well, I'm in a place where I can afford to do that. But the thing is, too, just how happy the mom was. I mean, it was so worth it, Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing, everybody stepped up. Everybody stepped up. I mean, every single event was better than the one before. And I made friends for life. And so for me, that's worth it. But I'm also 60 years old. I also have those book royalties coming in. For you, the young trainer, you need to be a parent. You need to be an adult. This is my turn. Well, the guy over there charges 50. And then you have to have the courage to say, he charges less for lots of good reasons. He's not as good as me.
Let me ask this question. When you have to fire a client, or when you decide to fire a client, you don't have to do anything. How does that conversation go down? How do you have that conversation? Because there's a lot of people out there listening to this, and they know that there's clients they should fire.
I let them fire themselves. Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
In my Venn diagram, and I think you remember, right? Mm-hmm. Do you remember sevens? Sevens, their waistline is over the height to waist ratio. So they're more than half, the 2-to-1 ratio. They sleep with 7 pillows, and they can't hold a plank for 2 minutes. So they're a 7. They failed all 3 tests. With 7s, I will hire them on under and one thing. For the first month, you have to drink 2 glasses of water a day. If you can't do that, then I'm not going to work with you.
Yeah.
And so if you can do it, either you can do it. It'd be nice to have an assistant. I don't have to do all this stuff anymore. But every night at 9 o'clock, I'm going to call you every night at 9, or, this is, by the way, this is gold. Bring, bring, bring. And the joke is it goes bring, 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 because they're drinking the second glass of water, as you call. My best fat loss client of all time, I've got 2 real good stories, but he told me, so he lost 100 pounds in 1 year and ran a half marathon. 100 pounds in a year?
Wow.
You know what he did for the first month? drank 2 glasses of water a day. The second month, I went to his place and found out the farthest parking space to where he needed to be every day. And I told one or two of his workers, if he parks anywhere else, here's my phone number, you call me, I'm not working with you anymore. I don't care if it's because you forgot your keys, you always park there, always. So it was a good, I mean, it wasn't 3 miles, like what I used to do to walk to school every day, uphill both ways. But what it did at the end of the second month, so we got through the first one, 2 glasses of water. By the way, everyone started noticing he would be walking around all the time with jugs of water, because once he started drinking water instead of all the other, it's funny, see, this habit knocked it. When he was thirsty before, my good friend Stoney, what got him overweight was he worked at a company that had free soft drinks. You start slurping down free soft drinks all day, pretty soon you volume up.
Absolutely.
If we can trade water for soft drink, that's a win-win.
Huge.
It wasn't the walk. The walk had nothing to do with it. Number 6 on my pirate map every day is eat 8 different vegetables. I didn't say 8 servings, it said 8 different. But every time I consciously look for a different vegetable, I'm Olympic lifting at a record breakers meet in October. Every time I do my original strength, I'm Olympic lifting at a record makers meet in October. Every time he parked his car, he was losing weight and fat, but in his case, weight, because it was destroying his knees and ankles. So when you have someone who's a 7, they failed at everything. Tossing them in isn't going to help them. They have got to turn it around. The funny thing is if you can get them to month 3, all their dreams come true. Because when you scale them up, and here's the thing, so all you did was drink 2 glasses of water and walk to, a few more steps. Yeah, and I lost substantial weight.
Right.
Well, now you're the ski slope, man. You are accelerating. Now we show them the goblet squat, the farmer walk, and the hip thrust. And the next month, for God's sakes, doing that 3 times a week, often by themselves in their own home. Boom, you weigh in, and it's because now momentum's happening. He's still doing goblet squats and farmer walks and the hip thrust and the push-up, the big 4, okay? Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is I was on the velocity diet. I think I've told you this story before.
Yep.
And the velocity diet's 6 protein shakes a day, and that's it. There's nothing more. And I go to this family party, and I beg my wife not to tell anybody in her family, especially her mother. She told her mother I was on this diet. So, of course, her mother, honest to God, I don't know why we just don't hire her when hurricanes are coming, because she'll tell everybody. So she told my sister-in-law, Kim, that I was on this diet. So Kim famously walks over me with a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer in this hand and a chicken leg in this one. And I heard you on this diet. And so I've learned a good lesson. Always drink Diet Coke at parties if people think you're a bourbon drinker. Make sure it's in a highball glass. Yeah. Because people think you're drinking bourbon. It's true.
Right.
It's perfect. And you go like this, about this long. And people yawn. And she walks up to me, Kim with her big eyes, and she's going, that's me. I'm all about discipline. When I set my mind to it, and I swear to God, she changed my career right there. When I set my mind to it, and I thought to myself, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. That's not necessarily true, but it's pretty true. It's the hardest thing I've ever done voluntarily in my life. How about that?
Fair.
I've done harder things, but not well. Yeah, I signed up, but I didn't think they meant that. And so, when I set my mind to it, that's when I realized that somehow her diaphragm was pushing air up, and it was going across the vocal cords, and sounds were coming out of her mouth. But there was no connection. When I set my mind to it, And I hear that all the time. It's like, you've put on 50 pounds of fat in the last 15 years. Where's your mind been those last 15 years? Well, you forgot it somewhere? It was, you dropped it one day. Oh, here's my mind. Now I can put my mind into it. The problem is this, it gets back to this. I'm not saying that your clients lie to you. They're telling you what they think you want to hear. You know, Kim couldn't have done the velocity diet. You know how I got done? You know what I did? I put it on T Nation.
Yeah.
At the time, it was the most well-read forum in the history of that place. People would post on there. I had friends say, I was checking 30 and 40 times a day. I was getting, women were sending me, if you can find it, encouraging shots. People were walking with me. One night, famously, I called up my brother. My brother Gary is a disabled American vet from Vietnam. He's deaf. He had his issues coming back. And when I say what he said, you'll know the problem. And I said, Gary, I'm dying here. I can't finish it. And he said, do me a favor. You can quit tomorrow. I'm just begging you. Make it through tonight. And so the next day I got up. I took my supplements, went for a 30-minute walk with my wife and my dog. My dog, Lexi, of blessed memory. And I was fine. And I made it through one more day. So I certainly understand the emotional hit from all this stuff. But I have to say this, for the record, I'm a Division I MVP. I'm a Fulbright Scholar. I teach college and coach college at 3 different universities. I write 2 books a year. And sticking to a stupid diet is the hardest thing I've ever done voluntarily in my life. So what it did for me is it made me realize that we need, if you're coming from the far end of the fitness spectrum, not the good end, you need a month, 2 months, 3 months of tiny wins. I don't know if you ever read the work of B.J. Fogg, F-O-G-G, tinyhabits.com. I strongly recommend everyone listening, tinyhabits.com. Watch his TED Talk about flossing. You're supposed to floss your teeth every day, right?
Right.
I've done mine twice already. Because it's real easy for me. Because I keep my floss sticks in the little side thing in the car. So whenever I drive, I floss. Anytime I drive. Drives my kids crazy. But he doesn't want you to floss your teeth every day. He wants you to floss one tooth for a week. And can you do that? Could you floss one tooth once a day for a week? Could you do that?
Yeah, I could. I hope so. I do.
So his idea is this. Most people try to train like Mr. Olympia and eat like Gandhi to turn their lives around. Right?
Yep.
The habit, that's too big. Floss one tooth. Eat a vegetable a day. When I did the thing, I did 2 push-ups before I showered. You need that in context. Where I'm at in my life right now, at my age, statistically, the most dangerous thing I do every day is take a shower. Statistically.
Believe it.
If I ate a pound of bacon for breakfast or oatmeal, that changes my survival statistics 1 in 10,000. It's not even worth looking at.
Right.
But consciously entering and leaving the shower every day ramps up my survival rate for the next 20 years. I told you I got cancer last year. Statistically, at my age, it's better to get cancer than it is a slip and fall for 2 years survival. Shocking, isn't it?
It is.
So that push-up was making me more conscious. So I was doing 2 for 1 on this. Those 2 push-ups made me more conscious of doing the shower. That tiny habit will, I think, allow me to perhaps dance at my granddaughter's wedding.
That's awesome. And that's a beautiful message.
So So I guess what I'm trying to say on all this stuff, I know I come off as a lunatic. In fact, Dean Somerset posted on my Facebook wall, I'm not a psychopath. I'm just really busy. I'm a really busy guy. I'm a busy guy. But we need to start thinking when we're working with people who are at the far end of fitness, is that they can't set their mind to it. That's the diaphragm pushing the lungs, pushing the vocal cords with the lips moving. What we need to do with them is embrace them where they are and listen, it would have been a lot easier for the Titanic to turn the wheel early. I mean, they could have done this early and they'd have been fine. As it got later and later and later, they had to spin that wheel more and more and more. But what we're talking about with most North Americans now is we've just hit the Titanic. And now we got to figure out how to get things done. You know, the obesity rate is going up so fast that they had to change the way the colors on how they measured it, because they'd already used red, which was the alert. But then it went up even higher. You know, the southern states and the flyover states, the obesity epidemic reflects the way they vote. But sorry. Sorry. But we are in a place right now, man, we're in a place right now where we could have turned this years ago. You know, you go back to McGovern and his commission. I mean, you can go back to the McDonald's brothers with their hamburgers. I'm sure that if Ray Kroc wouldn't have anything to do with it, McDonald's food would probably still be in the food category. You know, when my friends from Scotland come here, they're shocked to see how many milk choices I have. This is a good thing. You're listening to do this. I'm not being a psychopath. Go to the grocery store and just count, click, 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 how many choices of coffees at their store. Walk over to the egg section. Eggs, for God's sakes. How many egg options do we have? Go to the milk. No fat, 2%, 4% whole. Almond milk, half and half. And I get it. I understand why. But we talk about decision fatigue, and that's absolutely true. But at the same time, we're giving these blessed people, you're at the far end of fitness, and then we throw at them a journey that they cannot possibly do. So I tell them to drink 2 glasses of water a month. What about the rest? We'll get to it.
Nice. Walk
farther away. Here's a couple of movements. Oh, I like them. Okay, I'm going to call you to make sure. I want you to get out of bed every morning and can you do 1 hip thrust every morning for me? Oh, yeah, I can do 1. Well, how many can you think you can do? I don't know, 100? You'll know. Too big. 10? Really, 10? Okay, I like 10.
Yeah.
By God, what you're doing is you're building on success. And at the end of that year, he's 100 pounds lighter. He runs a half marathon. People don't recognize him anymore. He's a new husband. He's a new father. You know, I got to tell you, man, you know, my coach told me one time it would take me 8 years to get my goals as a discus thrower. Most people can't handle that thought, but it's the truth. You know, I read a book years ago. It's by Tobias, Tobias. You might be able to get on Nightingale Conan, but the book was called Debt-Free Millionaire. And I can remember the very first assignment was to find out where you are. And it was to take your assets and then minus your liabilities. And you had to go around your house and put in your car, put in your debts. And at that time, I was worth $4,000. But his advice is very good. Next year, your goal is to be 4,001.
Nice.
Well, by the next year, I bumped up big time because I had what you're supposed to do is snowball debt. It's when you eat debt first.
Snowball effect.
Get the bigger. So if you have a Mervin's card for $72, eat that one this month. A card, your I don't know, card 122. Get that one next. If you've got this one, wait on that one. And I got to tell you, because once you get momentum, that's when all the magic happens.
Yep.
And getting back to so when you're working, go back to successful personal training. You got to have momentum. So maybe you only have one client, but make that client's life better. And all of a sudden you're going to look around and you're going to have a packed house. Because that's how it happens. When I was finally got to where I wanted to be as a track coach, we had this thing called Football Friday, and it was a way to get my athletes to do conditioning because throwers hate the sprint. So we played flag football with these specialized rules. You could never have the same person quarterback. You had to switch every time. Well, you had girls who never thrown a football. Hey, sorry. You better teach them. And, of course, the boys, we spend the whole week showing them how to throw a football.
Right.
Take the snap, roll right, throw the ball down,
Right.
Well, I noticed one day that Football Friday had 20 kids. So we had to separate the games out into these different little things. We had a league going with our throwers. I thought to myself, it started with one or two little kids, and now look at this. Look how it spiraled. And I looked around and I noticed that some of the kids weren't on my throws program. They just wanted to be around it.
Yeah.
So I hired those kids to be the filmers and I gave my official titles, assistant to the adjunct head coach. Just gave them titles. But once it starts, man, but you got to be real cool about how you start. Because, man, I always think whirlpool up. Spiral up. But you got to start here and do the logical stepping stones. Build it and build it. It's got to be believable at first. If you'd have told me, Dan, you can't throw the discus in a competition for 8 years, I wouldn't have lasted very long. But I threw 70 feet in my first meet. That season I got to 100, 103, 129, 144, 170. Went to college, 162, 174, 177, 190, way farther, way farther, way farther. That's how you do it, by doing incline bench presses and running some hills, believable goals, and then you build on it,
That's beautiful messaging. And I think it's, the fundamentals of everything don't change, whether it's life, business, training, a little bit of focus.
The 4 Fs.
Yeah, 4 Fs. And I probably only got to about 2 questions that I wanted to get to, but I'm gonna nail 3 right here at the end.
Go.
I want to know, what are you reading? What are you writing? And where can people find you?
What am I reading? Well, when I shopped the other day, I did not know that the new Sue Grafton book is out. It's called Y is for Yesterday. They're called the Alphabet Murders, Kinsey Milhome. So I called Tiff and I said, I cannot believe the 25th book is out. Because in our entire marriage, I have been reading 1 book a year. So it's book number 25. So I'm reading Sue Grafton's Y is for Yesterday. I'm also reading, I don't know how well you can see as we get some light on this.
Yeah.
But, I'm reading the Rick Riordan books. I just finished all the Percy Jacksons, and now I'm on the Lost Hero. But as a gift, I got the graphic novels.
Great.
I just turned 60, and so and the reason I'm reading these books is, I think I told you earlier. A little friend of mine, she's a 6th grader, and she one day said, "Have you read Percy Jackson?" I said, "No." And whenever a young person says, have you read a book, I think as an adult, my job is to go out and read the book. So now I've read all the Percy Jacksons. I'm almost done with this one. And every time I see her, I go, yeah, I didn't see that coming. And what I'm telling her, I'm teaching her, is that I really respect your intellect. Reading books is wonderful. Oddly, this is going to sound weird, but I don't read my own work, But when I was in Denver, I bumped into my friend Josh Hillis, and people were telling me how great this book is. So I got a copy of this book because I've never read it. I wrote it. I wrote part of it, but I can't stand reading my own stuff. So I'm reading my own work. Let's see. I just reread Chad Harbach's The Art of Fielding again. Chad wrote which is, by the way, a bestseller. They're turned into a movie. He wrote the introduction to Can You Go? So okay. That's not a bad person to write an introduction. I just zipped through Tommy Kono's book again. This is nice. I gave a workshop recently, and someone asked me my favorite book. So they were able to find the 1939 copy of The Sword and the Stone. And
nice.
If you read my Wandering Weights, this is the book we read every week. Next to my bed, I have Beau Geste, both Jurassic, one volume Beau Geste, one volume both Jurassic Parks, The Iliad and the Odyssey, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, I think is my edition. I have the British edition. And my mind's looking over there right now. There's another book right there that I like. So very often at night, I'll pick up, Dune.
Yeah. We talked about that earlier. Yep.
Very often at night, I'll pick up one of those books I've reread a million times, and I'll read those to kind of turn the engines off. Not so much if Tiff's in town, but if I'm alone, I'd much rather, my wife and I travel a lot, so we're alone a lot in hotels and home. And reading good books sometimes trumps watching, kind of, because you'll keep watching TV until it's midnight, and then you'll go home. My next book went to the printers last Monday, and it's called Hardstyle Kettlebell Challenge. And I'll be honest, I just looked through the copy before the copy before, right. That's so much work, my God. It's so much work. And it's good. I'm very pleased with it.
Fantastic.
I know it sounds weird for an author to say something like that. But
Yep. What are you reading? What are you writing? And then where can people find you?
And now what I'm working on now, actually today was marvelous. It's one of the best insights, in the Sword and the Stone thing I'm talking about. The words quest and quarry come from the same exact root. It means to seek. And in this chapter we just finished, young King Arthur has just found Merlin. So when he says, I must have been on a quest. Well, it just hit me that Sir Percival and the Holy Grail story has this great insight about how Arthur fell asleep here and Merlin was right next to him. And the great lesson of Percival's story is that which you seek is always right there. You left to go find adventure, but adventure was in South San Francisco. You went around the world trying to find love, and love was right there. You want to be, and not trying to do this too much, I've had a lot of success, but I was always most successful on the journey to success. It wasn't winning the thing. It was the journey towards it. And so I'll share that this week. So that's a great insight. And where can they find me? danjohn.net, on this thing called the Facebook. There's Daniel John. I'm Daniel John on Facebook. Someone talked me into doing this thing called Dan John Strength Coach, and I hate it. It's just so much more work for me. But it's there,
Okay.
But honestly, if you're going to ask me questions, folks, don't use Facebook, please. Just email me at dan@danjohn.net, and I'll be able to see it and answer. And as you know, I'll answer right away. Okay.
Yeah, you do every time. And thank you again so much, Coach, for coming on this. And maybe I can. I think you're going to help a lot of young or all ages fitness professionals with some of the stuff you've given here today. And hopefully you'll come on again.
You know what? This was easy. Anytime you want.
Hey everybody, this is Eric with the Fitness Marketing Alliance, and I want to say thank you for listening to this episode of the Future of Fitness podcast and webinar series. We're working really hard here to keep great content coming out, and we'd like to express our gratitude by offering you a free 7-day marketing crash course. So here's how you can claim it. If you go to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/free gift, FREEGIFT, and you enter the promo code FITMARK, FITMARK, you can claim it that way. The other way is you can text us. So you can text the phone number 805-619-5550, and you text the word FITMARK, FITMARK. So again, that phone number is 805-619-5550. So thank you. Keep listening. Go claim that offer. It's a ton of value. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, or if you have suggestions for guests, topics, or anything else, or if you just want to ask me questions, I always respond. You can reach me at Eric, ERIC, at fitnessmarketingalliance.com. And keep listening. We have a lot more coming down the pipe, and we'll make sure that we're keeping the value great for you guys. And farewell till next time.